Welcome back to World Information HD, the channel where we uncover fascinating secrets, hidden histories, and the stories behind some of the most valuable coins in the world. Today, we are taking a deep dive into one of the most interesting coins that many collectors dream about, the 1950-60 mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, this coin might look ordinary. After all, it's just a 1-cent piece, made of simple copper, with Abraham Lincoln's profile on the front and wheat stalks on the back. But as we are about to discover, this penny is far from ordinary. It carries a rich history, some exciting details, and a value that could surprise you beyond imagination. Let's start by stepping back in time, to the year 1956. America was booming with post-war prosperity. Families were buying cars, homes, and televisions. Dwight D. Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley was shaking up the music scene, and a gallon of gasoline cost only around 23 cents. In that world, the humble penny was still a coin of real purchasing power. A single cent could buy candy at the corner store, gum for kids, or even a small portion of fresh produce at local markets. It was a coin that circulated heavily in daily life, passed from hand to hand, and often overlooked as insignificant. But history shows us that sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest stories. The 1956 Lincoln wheat penny was struck at two different mints, Philadelphia and Denver. Today, we're focusing on the Denver mint version, which is marked with a small d just below the date. The Denver Mint was one of the busiest facilities in the mid-20th century, producing coins in massive numbers to keep up with the growing economy. In 1956, over 1 billion pennies were minted across the United States, with Denver contributing the majority of that number. That means the 1950-60 penny isn't necessarily rare in general circulation, but what makes it so special is not just how many were made, but what unique features some of them carry. The Lincoln wheat penny design itself had been in circulation since 1909, created by Victor David Brenner. His design marked the first time a real historical figure, Abraham Lincoln, appeared on a regular U.S. coin. The obverse shows the familiar bust of Lincoln, facing right, with the words, "In God We Trust," arched above his head, "Liberty," to his left, and the date with the mint mark below. The reverse of the coin features two wheat stalks encircling the denomination, 1 cent, and the country name, United States of America, along with the motto, E pluribus unum. Collectors lovingly refer to these as wheat pennies, and they remain some of the most beloved coins in U.S. numismatics. By 1956, the wheat penny design was nearing the end of its run. Just 3 years later, in 1959, the design would be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial reverse. That makes the 1950-60 wheat penny one of the last coins in this iconic series. For collectors, coins near the end of a series often carry an added sense of nostalgia, as they represent the closing of a historic chapter in American coinage. But beyond history, the value of the 1950-60 penny lies in its condition and in the presence of certain errors or varieties. In coin collecting, condition is everything. A coin that has been heavily circulated, scratched, and worn down might only be worth its face value. But if a coin survives in pristine, uncirculated condition, with sharp details and a brilliant red luster, its value can skyrocket. For wheat pennies, collectors often use grading scales ranging from good to mint state, with designations for color, brown, or full red. A 1950-60 penny in dull brown may not turn heads, but one with a fiery red shine, preserved perfectly since the day it left the mint, is a treasure. Another reason the 1950-60 penny is sought after is because of minting errors. In the 1950s, coin production was massive, and mistakes occasionally slipped through. Some 1950-60 pennies show repunched mint marks, known as RPMs. This happens when the mint mark, D, was accidentally punched into the die more than once, creating a doubled or shadowed effect. Collectors absolutely love such varieties because they tell a story of the minting process itself. Other errors include doubled dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and even clipped planchets. Each error creates a unique coin that is unlike any other, and depending on rarity, can command impressive prices at auctions. Now let's imagine finding one of these coins today. Perhaps you're going through an old coin jar inherited from a grandparent, or sifting through change at a flea market. At first, you might see nothing more than a worn penny with a date that seems unremarkable. But upon closer inspection, that tiny D under the date and the condition of the coin could transform it into something extraordinary. There's a thrill that comes with the possibility, ordinary change turning into a hidden fortune. That excitement is what fuels the passion of coin collectors worldwide. Speaking of passion, the Lincoln Wheat Penny series holds a special place in American hearts. It's often the starting point for young collectors. Many people remember filling blue Whitman coin folders with wheat pennies found in circulation, slot by slot, year by year. The 1956 D, being a common issue, often found its way into those folders. Yet, while common examples are plentiful, the top condition or error examples are what make seasoned collectors hunt relentlessly. It's a reminder that within the common, the extraordinary can always exist. Let's take a closer look at the Denver Mint itself in 1956. The facility was working at full steam, producing millions of coins a day. Workers operated giant presses that struck blank copper planchets into pennies, each carrying the iconic wheat design. The D mint mark signified Denver's responsibility, and as coins poured out in huge numbers, quality control was not always perfect. That's where those beautiful little errors slipped through the cracks, and unknowingly, workers created the coins that collectors today are willing to pay astonishing sums for. For collectors who prize perfection, the grading of the 1950-60 penny becomes critical. A coin graded mint state 65 red, for instance, can already fetch hundreds of dollars. At higher grades, such as MS 67 or beyond, values jump significantly because so few coins survive in that flawless condition. When auction houses list these top-grade pennies, bidding wars can erupt, with collectors competing to own a tiny piece of American history in its most pristine form. It's also worth noting that wheat pennies like the 1950-60 are made of 95% copper. Today, copper itself carries value, but back then, it was simply the standard composition for cents. The warm, reddish glow of copper pennies makes them especially attractive to the eye. Over time, exposure to air and handling changes that bright shine into tones of brown, and sometimes rainbow-like patina. Collectors debate over which toning is most beautiful, but there's no denying that an untouched, blazing red wheat penny remains the ultimate prize. The 1950-60 penny also connects us to everyday life in the 1950s. Imagine the hands it may have passed through. A factory worker may have received it as part of his paycheck. A child might have dropped it into a jukebox to play a favorite song. A mother may have used it at the grocery store to buy an apple. Each coin carries untold stories of ordinary Americans, living their lives, never imagining that decades later, the very coin they used would become a collector's treasure, and that's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about money. It's about history, memory, art, and the excitement of discovery. Every 1950-60 penny, no matter how worn, is a time machine that takes us back to a vibrant era of American life. Yet among them, the rarest and most flawless examples have crossed into a world of incredible value. Over the years, auction records have proven that collectors are willing to spend staggering amounts for the best 1950-60 wheat pennies. While the average example might remain affordable, the highest grade specimens with perfect color and strike are on another level entirely. And among them, a single piece has reached a value so astonishing that it has become legendary among numismatists. That legendary coin is none other than the 1950-60 Lincoln Wheat Penny, which has sold for the unbelievable price of $63,466.